That was good. I like that. Just snap in like that. Welcome to the Country Hipster podcast from the Ottsville Record Garage. My name's Paul. I'm the Country Hipster. And I'm here with my much younger and uglier brother, Adam, who is the co-host. How you doing?
I thought you were going to say something else. I'm good. How are you guys?
What did you think?
I don't know. You were just going to say something else. I thought you were like, this is my co-host, Adam, who is the Country Hipster. I'm like, I thought you were the Country Hipster.
I'm the Country Hipster, so much so that we now have Country Hipster podcast stickers. You can't, I don't know, maybe you could see it. We can see the camera, but it's a little, blurry with the light. There we go. If I turn it a little bit, you can see it. But so we got these printed up. If you come to one of my shows that I'm playing, I'll probably have these with me. If you purchase from the Ottsville Record Garage.com or from my Discogs page, you will also get one of those in the mail. And if you want one, figure out a way to contact us. Actually, send me a message at info@ottsvillerecordgarage.com and with your address, and I'll gladly drop one in the mail for you if you really want to support the Country Hipster podcast there. So, what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking something that you just gave me. Oscar Blues Brewery, Oscar's Lager.
There you go. I am also drinking the Oscar's Blues Brewery, the Bohemian Pilsner, Mama's Little Yellow Pills. So, reference to the Rolling Stones song, Mama's Little Helper.
I don't listen to hip hop.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a good thing. I don't think we have any Rolling Stones in our catalog for season one. 50. So, but so Oscar Blues Brewery. I don't actually know much about the brewery except that they're out of Texas, and I've had their beers a bunch of different times. I picked up a variety 12-pack over the weekend, and I enjoy it. We do try to stay local with our beer, but this time we just this is what we have. It's Monday night for us, you know what I mean? When we're recording, it's Monday. It might be Thursday when you're seeing this, but it's Monday when we're recording, which kind of gets me to some stuff here with dates and timelines and all that kind of fun stuff. So, Adam, I pissed off the podcasting gods.
Can I just stop you for a minute?
Yes.
They have they're a craft brewery with locations in Longmont, Colorado, Brevard, North Carolina, and Austin, Texas. But the company began in Colorado.
Oh, that's very interesting.
In 1997,
okay.
And began brewing beer in the basement in 1999.
Okay. So very craft beer, small brewery type of feel that just happened to expand. All right, good for that. It's the American dream. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah. 2.5 kids in a white picket fence.
There you go. So,
who'd you piss off? Jesus.
So yes, Jesus, as I do every day, and the podcasting gods. The podcasting gods being our director, producer, and engineer Jack, as well as my wife Katie, who funds my life.
So she's like the executive producer of the podcast.
She's the executive producer of the executive producer, because you're all about banging bitches and doing the cocaine, right? Because you are the executive producer. Yeah. So, and I'm just the talent, I guess.
You're the face.
I'm the face. I'm the face. Literally, the face of the Country Hipster podcast. So my initial thought, right? And so now we're starting season 1, episode 3. And my initial thought was, let's get the pilot episode out there. Let's launch it, get the pilot episode out. Let's get about 8 episodes filmed, meaning that, we put the pilot out there. My thought was, we'll wait a month until we put the first episode out, so that way we can be ahead of the game. Well, apparently that's not how podcasting works. It is when you launch, you go, and then you have to then go ahead and put content out. So between the pilot episode and episodes 1 and episodes 2, we're going to be talking when this launches a month from now or 6 weeks from now, here's what's going on in May. Well, we are now only 3 weeks ahead.
Yeah.
And so now we are actually in April. So we're a little closer to the, when these are posted, we'll be closer to the dates that we are, actually recording it, instead of it being a gap, which actually I think might actually be a little bit better. One of those reasons being because now I can more accurately promote my upcoming shows. So
True,
as I have mentioned, I am a musician. I do play music, and it was just funny because in the last episode I was promoting shows that I was playing at the end of May, which those shows are still happening to my knowledge at this point. But now I can tell you guys about my my April shows. I have 3 shows from the time this is posted. I will have 3 shows left in April. 4/21, I'm at Tiernaneau, the legendary Tiernaneau in Trenton, playing solo.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Tiernaneau, that's how I say it. The Trenton one they just call the Nog.
Okay.
They call it the Nog.
Because I always pronounce the G hard. I always pronounce a hard G. Like
yeah, I think
Tiernaneau.
I think it's technically Tiernaneau is I believe that's how I say it.
Gaelic is weird.
It is weird. Gaelic is weird. And then on the 28th of April, I will be playing at Bucks County Brewery, which I was promoting the end of May show, so I'm there twice in 2 months there. And then on the 29th of April, which is a Saturday, I am playing a private show with Birmingham 6, my Irish rock band, and it's a private show, so you guys can't go unless you're invited. And I don't know what the guest list is, so you're probably not invited. So, so those are my upcoming shows. What have you been up to since last week?
Very fucking hoity-toity of you.
I know, right?
I don't know what the fuck I've been up to since last week. Oh, so last week, I think I talked about when we recorded the last episode, my other podcast I do with our other brother, Summer Movie Club. We recorded an episode about Fargo.
Okay.
I realized that I don't really care much for the Coen brothers.
Really?
There's a few Coen brothers. Like, I love Oh Brother Art Thou.
I've never seen that. Want to see it, so I
love
haven't seen it.
Love The Big Lebowski.
Never saw it.
I enjoy Fargo, but like,
Fargo.
I don't like. I don't. I just don't really.
Is Raising Arizona the Coen brothers? Yeah, I love that.
I've never seen Raising Arizona.
Oh my god, that like Nicolas Cage.
Ooh, which is funny. Because we'll talk about Raising Arizona because there's a subtle tie to Raising Arizona and the album we're discussing this week.
Okay, all right. Well, that's cool. That's cool. So, real. I'm just gonna say it now since I'm talking about Raising Arizona. We'll get into your tie later when we're talking about the album. So the bad guy in Raising Arizona, Tex Cobb, the guy who's like the bounty hunter, right? So funniest fucking thing. I am, 18, 19 years old, playing in my old like emo band, which is also perfect that we're talking about that since we are talking about an emo. No. I'm just say emo with quotes. I'll get into that later.
No.
Band. So I was playing with my old band, Dish Union. I'm 18, 19 years old. There was this bar. I don't think it's still there. I think the bar is still there, but it might be called something else. It was called Doc Watson's Pub, and it was on 11th Street, just below Pine or between between Spruce and Pine, right? And across from Thomas Jefferson University Hospital. And we're playing, and it was us and another band called Dick and the Van Dykes. And there was like nobody there. Like we played, I think it was like a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. We played upstairs and all this kind of stuff. And so the guy who drove us there, because none of us drove except our drummer, the guy who drove us there, we park in an alley there and whatnot. And so we load up the car and he's got to leave. And so we turn to to leave, and he's like, fuck, there's a car, there's like this fucking Cadillac blocking my car, I can't get out. So we go up to one of the people working there at Doc Watson's, and we're like, hey man, we gotta we're trying to leave, like we know it was a shitty night and you wouldn't serve us even though we were underage, pretending to be not underage. So we got to go, but there's this Cadillac. Do you know whose that is? And the guy laughs. He's like, yeah, you got to go ask Tex Cobb to move his car. And we look up, and I'm like, oh, fuck, that's the Raising Arizona guy. And I was like, dude, I'm not asking him. Fuck that. That dude's fucking scary. Because, he's a professional boxer and all that.
No.
But, like, when we did go up and we asked him, and he was like, he just kind of looked at us. He's like, fuck, I'm not moving my car. We just kind of looked at him. He just laughed. He's like, yeah, I'll move it real quick. He's a nice guy. So, but so you did Fargo.
Yeah, we covered Fargo. I haven't posted the episode yet, but it will be. I realized actually last night that I hadn't posted the episode that we recorded before Fargo. So I actually have 2 episodes that I have to edit and post. So they'll both probably be out this week.
You fucking
yeah. I'll probably edit and post Warriors of Virtue tomorrow, and then towards the end of the week I'll post Fargo. But then we're going to be recording another episode this week on Billy Madison.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
so I'm excited to Back when Adam Sandler movies were good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in case you missed it, is the Summer Movie Club. It is the other podcast that Adam is on. I would call it The Other Woman, but this podcast is really like Your Other Woman, because you had that one for what, like 3 years now?
Yeah, it'll be like 3 years. I think actually we released our first episode in like April 1st, 2020.
Okay.
So
right. Yeah.
I believe it is like exactly 3 years at this point.
There you go. There you go. Anything else going on? Do anything else this weekend or anything?
I had really shitty nights at work.
Okay. That's
about it.
That's fun. That's fun. What did I do this weekend? I didn't really do a whole lot. I did. What's cool though is besides like getting the stickers, which I was really excited about today. So there is a this Facebook group that I belong to. It's like, one of those buy nothing groups. It's for the area of like Ottsville and Kittnersville and like, Regelsburg or wherever the hell we are.
Oh, that sounds made up.
Yeah, I think it is. But there's all these like little, towns that are like a block away.
Yeah.
And so like someone actually posted a projector. They were giving away a projector. Like one of those ones you kind of see in like corporate things, you know what I mean?
Like a reel-to-reel?
Like no. That would be even cooler. But no, it's like a digital projector and whatnot.
Oh, you mean like one of the ones like you had in like... Do you mean like one of the ones you had in like elementary school for like transparencies?
Nope, not even that. No. This is like one of those things. Like we had them at my old job when I had a real job, where they were like from the roof, so like we could put like fucking spreadsheets up and stuff like that, and like Skype calls and all that. You could just project it onto the wall. So it's like something like that. But it's cool. So I was like, yeah, man, I'll fucking take that off your hands. So I went and I picked that up. So that'll be cool. So I even said like on the post, I'm like, dude, I want that for my record garage. So if I get it working, if it works, I didn't plug it in yet to see if it works, but dude, I'm gonna have fucking movie nights here.
Yeah.
At
see, literally,
the Wallace Weiss Farm.
You just get a big enough fucking sheet hanging off the front of the house and just
sit there and just, you know what I mean? So it'll be cool. I'm hoping that works out. So that'll be cool. And I'm trying to think what else I did. I didn't really do anything else. Just hung out with the baby. I didn't have any shows this past weekend, which was nice. You know what we did? We went to the winery that I was married at, Vivid Alpha Winery. If you're in Bucks County and you like wine, and specifically dry red wines, check out Vivid Alpha Winery over on Stump Road in Doylestown. So me and Katie took the baby to the winery. So, because I guess that's what you do.
Yeah.
So, it's like, but it all, every time, because we had the baby out at my show I played like 2 weeks ago, and then we took the baby to the winery. And every time, like that like scene from Sweet Home Alabama, it just jumps into my head.
You got a baby in a bar.
Yes. But so that was pretty much like our weekend. So it wasn't too bad.
I just thought of something else I did. I accidentally made something that tasted almost exactly like bourbon chicken.
Okay. Very nice.
I literally just did chicken cutlet, like chicken breast.
Uh-huh.
And then I season them with Morton's Seasonal.
Okay.
And cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
And basil.
Okay.
And then just put about 1/4 of an inch olive oil in a pan and just cook them in the pan.
Yeah.
Came out tasting like almost exactly like bourbon chicken from a Chinese place. It was really good.
Nice. So do you do a lot of the cooking? Like anywhere that you are, I can't say at home because you're pretty much a fucking transient.
I am, yeah. I used to explain to people that I'm kind of like I was kind of like a homeless person with 2 homes. So when I'm at Katie's, I cook a lot.
Okay.
I let slip to her that I know how to cook, and now it's just like. She texts me like, hey, like, what do you want to do for dinner? And I'm like, the real question is, what do you want me to make for dinner? So, for instance, tonight I made a spiral ham. And I was telling her, I'm like, what's really good is just save some of this ham. And tomorrow morning, you cube it up and you throw it in the pan. Mm-hmm. And then you get a little bit of brown going on that. And then you throw some eggs on it and make a nice little scramble. And she's like, oh, man, it's going to taste so good when you make that tomorrow. So I do cook a lot for Katie just because she hates cooking, and I don't mind it. I've always enjoyed cooking.
Yeah.
I always joke, I don't like to bake.
Okay.
Because baking is too, like, if you fuck up with something tiny, if you put, like...
Baking is very scientific.
Yeah,
cooking is artistic.
Yeah, if you miss the tiniest little fucking thing in baking, the whole thing is fucked. But if you fuck up something in cooking, you can just add something to it to counterbalance. Like, oh, I added too much salt. We'll just add a little bit more sweet to it, or something like that.
Yeah, something to counteract what you put too much.
I've always been a fan of cooking, not baking though.
I do all the cooking here. I mean, as you know, as we've mentioned, I am a stay-at-home dad. I take care of Regina, my daughter. My wife does work from home primarily, and my son Jack, who is our producer, director, and editor, even though he'll only admit to being our editor. He lives here as well, and so I do the vast majority of cooking. Katie can cook. I just don't see a point in no, I'll do it. I'll take care of it. So I enjoy it. I like trying different stuff. So I love cookbooks. Just for whatever reason, I just love getting cookbooks. So I accumulated some cookbooks after me and Jack moved into our apartment. And I've been kind of slowly accumulating them because I lost all my cookbooks from my divorce. And never had the ability to get more during the 8 or 9 years between my divorce and when Jack moved back to Philly. But after that, I did get some cookbooks, and then became a stay-at-home dad again. And so I made a promise to myself, I want more cookbooks. I don't know, I just like it. So I want more, but I said I'm not going to get more cookbooks until I use all the cookbooks I have. So what I've taken is all my cookbooks, and I actually flip them around. So every week when I go to do my food planning for the week, I just pull out a random cookbook, and I'm like, all right, this is one I'm going to pick a recipe from. So once I get through, once I get through the cycle at least 2 times, possibly a third time, that's when I'm going to allow myself to buy some more cookbooks. But it's one new recipe a week. I'll find other shit online, but that's,
that's like a method people use to clean out their closet, where you hang up all your shit and have the hangers face one way. And as you take something out and you put it back, you put the hanger the opposite way as the original. And at the end of the year, whatever is still facing the original way gets thrown out. Yeah.
So there are cookbooks that I have where it's because I am going to use them all, but there's some even as I pull them out, I'm there is nothing in this book I want to cook. So that probably get donated off to a library or thrift shop or something like that. So, but we are not here to talk about cooking. We are not a cooking podcast. We are a music podcast. And this is season 1, episode 3. And our subject of today's episode is Say Anything is a Real Boy. Put it up there, Adam. Yes. This was one of Adam's records from his 25. Yep. And I'm gonna turn it over to you, buddy.
Okay, so the record was recorded in 2003 and 2004, released in August of 2004 on Doghouse. I was just saying to Paul, originally when it was released on Doghouse, it was just under an hour long. It was 57 minutes and change long. This version that Paul and I listened to is an hour and a half long, which is so far, I think if you took the other 2 albums that we've covered and added them up, it still doesn't reach the amount of length this album is. Yeah. But the reason why this one is so long is because after it was released by Doghouse, Say Anything signed to a major label, which I was just saying to Paul, I'm not 100% sure, but it's J Records, which I think is a subsidiary of Sony. And when J Records re-released the album, they released the album Is a Real Boy with the EP Was a Real Boy combined into one, thus adding an extra half hour to the record.
Well, J Records no longer exists. It was dissolved in 2011
into RCA.
RCA Records. Oh, there you go. So RCA Music Group, and I don't know who distributes. Oh, it is part of transferred. Okay, there was some other music group. I'm not even going to try to say it until it was transferred to Sony Music Group when they acquired all of BMG's record labels in late 2008. It was distributed through the RCA Music Group. So yeah, Sony Music Entertainment. Which is funny thing about Sony Music Entertainment, you have this RCA Music Group as well. So there was two basic main distributors with Sony. You had Sony Music, and then you had, and I think they're still around, but you had Red, which was basically so Warner Brothers has their Wea stuff, the Warner Brothers stuff, and then they have ADA, and ADA is basically a lot of small labels or independent labels that fall under the Warner umbrella, but they're not Warner. So at the time when I was working for the now defunct Soundstage Direct, which is why I was working for them in the 2011 to 2013 area, I would order from Warner Brothers, but like Neil Young was Warner. At the time, Nirvana was Warner, Pink Floyd was Warner. And that's who you get the Warner stuff from. But then there was ADA, which had like the Dropkick Murphys are an ADA band and stuff like that. So smaller bands, smaller labels, but like even like the Dropkick Murphys were under a different label at that time, but it was distributed by ADA. Sony had Sony Music, which was Michael Jackson, Bob Marley, stuff like that. But then their Red had Mumford and Sons.
Oh, okay.
So that's where Mumford and Sons was part of, whatever label they were on, which fell under Red Distribution, which then fell under Sony Music in general. So this, just the difference between the record labels and distribution. It's all kind of different. It's all convoluted. And so, yeah, there you go. I don't know if anybody really cared to know any of that, but I told you about it anyway. So
it works.
Yeah.
Record was produced by Tim O'Hare and Stephen Trask. And there is not a huge list, but a list of multiple. It was recorded at Red Rum in Brooklyn.
Red Rum.
Sinjin in New Haven. Ton Recording Facility in Echo Park, and Pulse Recording in Los Angeles. Which I think the other two albums that we've covered so far were just one studio and done. So Paul doesn't like this record.
I didn't even say anything.
I know.
I didn't even say it. You talk about this record. We'll get to my
thoughts.
All right.
So, album, like I said, album was released in 2004. This was one of those things I discovered in high school. First song I ever heard by Say Anything was Alive with the Glory of Love. Which, who doesn't love a song about a love story set in the Holocaust?
Okay.
Which I was thinking about it when I was listening to it. Has there been a movie with that plot, a love story with the backdrop of the Holocaust?
I'm sure. Yeah, I know. I'm sure there's something if you look hard enough. I was thinking about it. One movie I'm thinking of offhand. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like something about like the zoo or something like that, and like
we bought a zoo starring Matt Damon.
That was set during the Holocaust. No. It was. I forget exactly what it was. This is how bad it is because I don't actually watch a whole lot of Holocaust movies. But I'm sure if we look, we can find a love story.
No.
Isn't that what Schindler's List was about?
I was gonna say it's been a while since I've seen Schindler's List, but I'm sure there was some. I'm sure Ray Fiennes loved somebody.
I actually never saw Schindler's List.
I've seen it. I saw it like once when I was in high school. I think we watched it in like American History or World History or something.
When I was working at a movie theater in Northeast Philadelphia, Schindler's List was showing at that time in theaters. So that shows you how old I am. And actually, no, it wasn't. It was out of theaters for about a year or two. That's what it was. It was out of theaters, but we had an issue. I was projectionist, and we had an issue with The Lion King, and the film got all fucking tangled because that's when it was actual film, not hard drives and Blu-rays, which is what you look in, or even worse, DirecTV boxes, which is what you see in movies right now. If you don't believe me, look that shit up. It's the truth. No. Very rarely do you get actual film, and that's usually now a special event. So the Lion King got all tangled and shit, and like people are like, what the hell's wrong with the Lion King? So we like open it up and just to like try to straighten it out and fix it. And I actually found like 3 cells from Schindler's List, because they had an issue with Schindler's List on this same projector and it broke. And so for all that time, there was a cell just sitting in there. It's like this group of cells, because that's how the way that movies used to come. Back in the day.
Yeah, back in my
day, Timmy. The way that movies used to come is they came in reels. They came in like 20-minute reels. And then the projectionist would have to put those reels together, and they would, and that's how it would show through the movie. But yeah, so that was the thing.
If you've ever seen Fight Club, he goes way into depth about it.
Yes.
In the industry, funny, we call them cigarette burns.
They actually still use cigarette burns.
They do it as they just do them. Yeah. Like, even though they don't need them, they just put them there.
Well, they'll still, what'll actually happen now, even with the digital files, is a lot of them still will come in batches.
Oh, okay.
So it is. So when the distributor is putting together the final film, they will sometimes be not. They'll still call them reels, but they're digital reels.
Yeah.
So when they put them together, it still shows you, the guide of the cigarette burns and where you're supposed to switch off and whatnot. But anyway, I'm going off on tangents again. So
it's all right. I'm checking in beers.
You're checking in beers
on
as we're talking. Okay. What do you got there?
I have no fucking clue.
Sloop Brewing.
Yeah, Sloop Brewing. Simcoe Bomb.
Okay, those are pretty good. That was another there's like an IPA pack. Katie wanted IPAs, so we.
I
went
like
out
the can. The can's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was one of my favorite albums from like shit I used to listen to in high school. I've actually gotten to see I've seen Say Anything live once. Actually, I met the lead singer.
Okay.
I was walking to if you're familiar with Philadelphia venues, they were playing at the TLA on South Street, and I'd gotten off the L and was walking to South Street with the girl that I was dating at the time, and we were walking, and I see this big ass tour bus, and I'm thinking to myself, oh man, that must be really shitty to drive that giant fucking tour bus in like Philadelphia, Center City, Philadelphia
especially
streets.
Down there, it's like probably like 3rd Street or 2nd Street or something.
Yeah, I was like, this hat has to be fucking terrible. And then I keep walking a little bit. I'm like, oh wait, I'm going to see a band who travels on that on a tour bus like that. And then as I'm getting like to the bus, I see the lead singer and the drummer of the band standing outside of the bus smoking a cigarette. So I just, as I was, walking by, I was like, hey, I'm on my way to see you guys. And they're like, oh, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah, man, I can't wait. Enjoy have a good show. And just kind of walked off, and they were like, thanks, man.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, I just, I've always enjoyed it. It's a weird one, which I think Paul will contest to. But yeah, it's, I was trying to think, like, it's, I don't. It's there's. I don't. I'm like trying to pinpoint what it is about it that stood out to me, because it's a different. It's an emo album. At the end of the day, it's an emo album. In my opinion, Paul has a different opinion. But
I didn't say anything.
But it doesn't. To me, it doesn't sound like any of the other stuff that was out around that time. Which I talked about. When I was taking notes on it. The lead singer of this band has always been very vocal about his he's got a few mental disorders.
Mm-hmm. I was reading about that today.
And he's always been very vocal about them. And listening to this album, to me, it's very obvious that somebody with, mental problems wrote this album. Because it's very, the songs are very all over. Like even in the each individual, like the songs themselves are kind of all over the place. But the individual songs, there's like 3 different like musical changes in each song. Like the songs almost kind of sound like ADD. Like they just kind of change up halfway through.
Okay. Cool.
So Paul, tell me about your opinions on the album.
Well, I am drinking Oscar Blues Brewery Dale's Pale Ale. I've switched up, so this is very nice. So my initial thoughts on this album. Let me pull my pad of paper here. I hate this album.
Yeah.
And my daughter Regina also hates this album. So we filmed last Monday. As you guys know, at the end of every episode, we pull out what we're going to do next week, and this came out. And so Tuesday morning last week, I had to run and pick up my new glasses. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna put the baby in the car and we're gonna run and. Might as well get to work on the podcast like right away. So I throw this on Spotify. Yes, I do listen to records on Spotify, even though I love vinyl, and I do love vinyl, and I'm still a big fan of digital music and streaming services. I know Spotify fucks the artist. I'm one of those artists who gets fucked by Spotify, and not in a good way. But still, like I like doing it. It's an easy way to listen to music.
I've listened to. So all of my records live at Paul's house.
Yes, they do.
Paul lives an hour away from me,
uh-huh.
Which means I've listened to every album that we've covered so far on Apple Music. Yes. So,
but that's the thing. So like even like new releases and whatnot, or if it's like a reissue or something like that, I'll listen to an album digitally, and from that point, usually decide whether or not I'm going to buy it on vinyl for myself.
No.
Sometimes it's just a no-brainer. Sometimes there's an artist I see, this is coming out, fuck it, I'm ordering myself a copy right away. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But some music, I listen to on Spotify. So I put it on the car. We're driving. We're going down 611, and the baby just starts crying. I changed her diaper before we left. She was fed before we left. Usually this child falls asleep in the car by the time we hit the end of my driveway, which I have like a driveway that's almost a quarter of a mile from the house to the street. So, we're halfway down and she's crying and I can't think of anything. So I'm like, I bet you she hates this album. So I immediately flip it to like something else and she just stops. Like the second something else came on, she just stopped crying. I was like, okay, cool. So Regina hates this album too. It's not me. Now we were a few songs in, mind you. It wasn't like right away that she started crying.
And it was funny too because when I got here tonight to record, we were sitting upstairs in Paul's house, and his lovely wife Katie goes, "So you like this album that you're covering this week?" So it's I think that universally across the board at the Ottsville Record Garage, aside from me, nobody else likes this album.
We don't have Jack's opinion because it's not a game.
Yeah.
But no. And here's the thing too. So like I'm not sitting there saying like I listened to this once in the car. I am open to bands I don't know. I am open to music that I wouldn't necessarily like, especially when the suggestions come from people who I generally respect their opinions musically. Maybe not personally respect their opinions, but musically I might respect their opinions. And you'll see that is actually in one of my 25 albums. When that comes up, you're going to be like, that's one of your fucking albums. But it's because like someone I work with who I used to work with, contacted me and said, you got to listen to this album. And I was just like, I don't like that. And she was like, no, I think you'll like this album. And then honestly, it's an amazing fucking album, but we'll get into that when that gets pulled. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. It's called a cliffhanger, people. Stick with us. But at any rate, so I do listen. Same thing with the Slayer that we were talking about in the pilot. I will listen to these albums like at least 3 times because I want to try to like really take it in. And sometimes like my first initial reaction to an album is not the best reaction. Like honestly, like for years, or not for years, but like when it first came out, I hated Counting Crows, August and Everything After.
Katie says hello.
Oh, what's up? We're busy, damn it. So it was
Papa's working.
Yeah, August and Everything After came out, and I hated it. And then the Counting Crows' second album came out, and I liked some of the songs on there, and had to go back and listen to August and Everything After again. And now it's like, okay, no, I like this album. I actually have it in my collection, as well as the second album, which I do think is better, which is Angels in the Satellite. So I do like those, even though they didn't make it into my 25. But they're like season 2 records.
No.
Yeah. But so that's my initial thoughts. I don't really like this. Like, to me, this album sounds like they are trying to poorly imitate Panic in the Disco with a good Charlotte / Blink 182 feel to it. Wow. It's just nonsense that doesn't work.
Fun fact, I hate Panic at the Disco. I've never cared for Panic at the Disco at all. So like I think I mentioned it in the when we covered on Wide Awake It's Morning. The one time I heard Paul play a Bright Eyes song and I thought, oh shit, I didn't know Paul knew Bright Eyes, because I assumed Bright Eyes was the kind of music that I listened to that Paul would make fun of me for listening to, and Say Anything falls into that category as well, of music that I like that Paul would make fun of me for.
Well, so maybe one of the reasons is because, again, to me, this sounds like a bunch of fucking frat boys.
It's funny that you say that. Continue.
Who decided to put a band together and learn these emo songs simply to get laid by fucking little Hot Topic girls, which is the other thing I wanted to talk to you about too. With this album, when it came out, 2005, when it initially came out, you're pressing. Okay, yeah, 2004, 2005 is all that like that thing. What is the movie that you hate for the reason that you're not a teenage Hot Topic chick?
Oh, Nightmare Before Christmas?
And this album is made for Hot Topic teenage chicks who love Nightmare Before Christmas.
So, our brother Zach had a book bought a book one time called, what's it called? It's called Everybody Hurts. It's a guide to emo culture. It's written by 2 editors. Remember AP Magazine, Alternative Press?
Uh-huh.
It's written by 2 editors from Alternative Press.
Okay.
And they break down all the different types of emo. And one of them is, so it'll give like the type of emo and like bands that type of person listens to. And one of them was like the frat boy emo. And I think if I'm not mistaken, on the list of bands they listen to was Taking Back Sunday, Say Anything, and something else.
Yeah, it's just that's what it's like, and it's like, I don't know the musicians, you know what I mean? I'm not, you know, I never got famous or anything like that, but like this like the music sounds forced. The words sound forced. It's like, well, this will sound good. This is emo. I'm gonna eat rat poison tonight. That's fucking emo. Yeah, like, shut up. It's not fucking funny. It's not good.
Nah.
It's just you know, I couldn't get into it. And it's
something
just like,
a song on here that this album that's always like to me sounded like it was trying very hard was, if I'm not mistaken, it is on the original release when it was just Is a Real Boy and not Was a Real Boy connected to it. The album ended with Admit It.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, every time they play live, they close every show with Admit It.
Okay.
And Admit It always sounded really forced to me, especially because, like, my note for it is, hey, man, I own a thesaurus, too. It's cool.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Well, like, and the other thing, too, it goes, sorry to cut you off, but back to the force thing. What's the song? Yellow Cat / Red Cat? What the fuck are you trying to do? Like, oh, we're cool. We like Dr. Seuss, too. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, I hate this album. So, at any rate,
I just realized you're wearing an Aldi hat.
I am wearing an Aldi hat. I am all about Aldi. If you I do the food shopping.
I just saw you turn and I saw the logo. Like, what the fuck is he wearing?
I was in, so Aldi has that, like, Aldi has that best fucking aisle that's like right in the middle of the fucking store. And I'm going through there to, like, this is like 2 weeks ago. And like it just catches out, like I catch this out of a corner of my eye. I'm like, oh, that's an Aldi hat. And they had this one, and they had a gray one, and then they had Aldi socks, and they had fucking Aldi flip flops. And I'm like, oh god, Katie would hate me if I bought all this. Fuck it, I'm getting a hat. And it was like $3.99. I'm like, I'm getting this fucking Aldi hat. So yes, but that's the
awesome
thing. So I'm the country hipster. It's ironic.
Yeah.
I'm drinking craft beer with my Aldi hat in my vinyl record garage. That's
only-
why I'm the country hipster.
The only thing that would make it better is if it was like a fucking Whole Foods hat or something like that, or like a Trader Joe's or something.
Yeah, right.
Oh, but I was talking about the link between this album and Raising Arizona.
Yeah, okay.
The lead singer, Max Bemis, his dad used to, I forget exactly what.
Beat him.
Yes. No, I forget exactly what he said his job was, but he used to make movie posters.
Okay.
And there was a poster for Raising Arizona where there's a baby, like, with his back to the camera, but he's, like, looking backwards between his legs.
Okay.
Max Bemis' dad took that picture, and the baby is Max Bemis.
Oh, that's okay. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So
That's neat.
Max Bemis on, like, I forget where exactly he was on. Max Bemis was on an episode of the AP podcast that used to be out a very long time ago.
Okay.
And he talked about it. And I said it wasn't like a widely used poster, but there was a poster, a Raising Arizona poster that had him as a baby on it. Okay. So it's funny that we talked about the Coen brothers.
So can I make the movie connection that I have with this?
With this
Yeah, this is gonna be a little bit of a rant.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Go ahead.
Okay. So one of the other things that bugs me, and this bugged me back in the day when this album or when this band became a thing, you know, because I love emo. I love old emo. My old band, we were like, so my old band was called Disunion. We were local here to Philadelphia. We were the right sound in the right place at the right time with the wrong group of people together. You know what I mean? So like we were, you know, we played some cool shows. We had some potential. If the three of us could have actually gotten our shit together and not wanted to like kill each other every practice, we probably could have done something, right? Not to say we would have been like world famous or anything like that.
Who
but we
was in this band? Was it Sean in this band?
It was Sean and a drummer was Lou. Lou's an incredible drummer. Sean's really good. Oh, Sean also, by the way, our theme music to come in, I fucking didn't even fucking mention it because I didn't write it down. Our theme music is the Unholy Four, Dirty Knife. So make sure you go check out the Unholy Four.
And if I remember correctly, didn't you say Sean drew that?
Sean also drew, because Sean draws really great depictions of me. He also did our logo here for the Country Hipster podcast. No. So obviously, without getting into too much detail, Sean and I getting along were not the problem with this band. So, no. But
I'm assuming you played bass in this.
I played bass. Okay. I played bass. Me and Sean split the vocals. It was cool. We were a 3-piece power trio, and it was a good thing, good time. Like I said, right sound, right place. Right time, just wrong group of people, wrong circumstances. So like, I know emo. I'm into emo. Like, I respect it. Even stuff that came out after we were done. Like, I'm like, all right, yeah, it's emo as fuck. And then, like, you know, and you listen to certain things. And, like, even now, like, you can go back and listen to things and be like, oh, no, that's fucking emo. I was listening to this one podcast called Bandsplaining, which is a podcast about like cult following bands. And they were talking about Sunny Day Real Estate, specifically the album Diary. And the host of that show, like, she starts off, she's like, listen, I'm just going to put this out here. Every band is emo. And in a way, like, I kind of get it, you know, but there's certain songs where I can go back and like, oh yeah, that's fucking emo. Like perfect example is, you know, I said like, oh, that song's fucking emo. Another band, I hated their first album, the Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters' first album came out, fucking hated it.
I've always been of the ilk where I enjoy the Foo Fighters hits. I don't care for the deep tracks.
Mm-hmm. See, I like some of the deep tracks.
I used to date a girl who fucking loved Foo Fighters, and like she'd put like I'm like whatever. I'm like
okay.
I just don't give a shit.
But like hated the first album. The second album came out, Colors and the Shapes, and this is when MTV still showed videos. Mm-hmm. And I just happened to be flipping through, and they're like, "We got the newest for the Foo Fighters." And like, I will always try to give bands a shot. No. Like, I'm just like, I'll give you a couple shots. If I don't like you, I don't fucking like you, but I'll try. And it was Monkey Wrench. Was the video for the song Monkey Wrench?
Monkey Wrench is the one where at one point he's got really big hands.
No, that's Everlong.
Is that Everlong?
That's Everlong.
Okay.
Yeah. But so Monkey Wrench is on, and a whole like fucking driving thing, and it gets to the part where he's like, "One more thing," you know.
Yeah.
And like I call up Sean, I was like, "Dude, you gotta fucking hear this new Foo Fighters, dude. This shit is fucking emo." And that song is emo.
Yeah.
That album is probably emo, but they're not an emo band. You know what I mean? So like I do appreciate emo or the emo aspects of it. But so one of the things that did bother me about this band is the fact that they are called Say Anything. Mm-hmm. Again, frat boys trying to fucking get laid. Mm-hmm. Great movie. Love the movie. Say Anything.
But we've both said before when we covered Bright Eyes, 99% of the reason why anybody starts playing guitar is to get laid.
Yeah, but it can't be that fucking obvious, dude. It can't be that fucking obvious. Where literally all you're trying to do is get laid, and their whole, I could just fucking see these fucking frat boys sitting in the house being like, what can we call our band that we're going to play for these weird girls who go to Hot Topic? Dude, you know that Lloyd Dobler dude?
John Cusack?
He held up the fucking radio. Girls love that shit. It's so fucking romantic. First of all right, here's my rant. And I know we're not a movie podcast, but I got it. Fucking Lloyd Dobler is an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go. Lloyd Dobler is a narcissistic fucking asshole who cannot handle rejection, and he took advantage of Diane Dane at the time because she was in a bad spot. He should not have gone to the UK with her, and it's just, I have this whole fucking Lloyd Dobler theory, which I'm going to get into right now. So
sit back, here it comes.
So here it comes, right? Okay, so Say Anything ends with them leaving and going to the UK after her dad's in jail. Her mom barely has anything to do with her, and she's like fucking lost. This is after they got back together, and so they go and to England, and things don't work out so well. In my mind, Lloyd Dobler kills her and calls his dad, who, if you notice, is in the army, who is also stationed in Europe, to cover it up. And his dad does, with the caveat that, well, son, now that I'm going to take care of this for you, you got to join the army. Okay? And the reason it gets pushed under the fucking rug, besides this fucking, you know, army connection that they just fucking covered it up, is that her dad's in jail, who already has early onset emphysema at that point, fucking probably dies of a heart attack in federal prison, and her mom, who doesn't give a shit about her really, doesn't even realize she's fucking dead, and they don't know it, and Diane Dane doesn't know anybody over there, so people just don't even notice that she stopped showing up to classes. So he kills Diane in England, has his dad covered up. His dad says, you have to join the military now since I did this for you. And they put him onto some straight fucking black ops shit where he becomes an assassin. Hence, the dad dies. He goes back to his high school reunion in Grosse Pointe Blank in Michigan. And he's got to fucking kill people. And he's ready to give it up. He's ready to give up his like killing lifestyle. He's done being an assassin, all this kind of shit. He's trying to fucking bring Minnie Driver down with him, and it works. He gets out of it.
Nobody takes down Minnie Driver.
Nobody takes down Minnie Driver, but he gets out of it, and it's fine. So he does that, but he gets out of being an assassin. Notice who his handler is in Grosse Pointe Blank.
I don't think I've ever seen Grosse Pointe
Joan
Blank.
fucking Cusack, who's his real life sister and his sister in Say Anything, who's then his handler in Grosse Pointe Blank, because dad's got to bring everybody into the family business, right? And so then he's like, all right, cool, I'm out of the assassin business. Let me go real fucking low key, and I'm going to open up a record store in fucking Chicago. I'm going to be out of sight, in plain sight, and that brings us to High fucking Fidelity.
And Joan Cusack's just there to make sure he doesn't get out of line.
Oh, no, she's there to make sure I get this line, and I'm going to get into that in a second, too. So he's sitting there, and he's doing all right. He's doing this thing, right? But then this girl breaks up with him, and he starts going fucking crazy like Diane Dane again, and all of a sudden, the fucking radio won't work. And so he starts talking about all these women who rejected him, and he's getting madder and madder and all this kind of shit. And so that scene where Joan Cusack walks into the fucking record store and walks up to him and goes, "You're an asshole." He goes on to explain, it's like, oh, I'm sure Laura told her about the abortion and told her about how he cheated on her and da-da-da-da-da. That's not what it was. It's him fucking covered up. She's coming in calling him an asshole because she's like, you're an asshole. You were fucking out of this, and now you're fucking getting into it again. You're going to fucking start killing people. So he can't deal with... I'm still going. So he can't deal with this undercover lifestyle. He eventually kills Laura. He probably wants to kill, I also have a theory about the scene. Like, he went that night to Charlie's place. He was gonna knock off Charlie, cause she she heard him. He was gonna knock her off, and then there were all those people there, and he had too much to drink. He's like, I can't fucking do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he ends up doing it, and he just can't deal with it. He's still obsessed with all these women because he's a fucking narcissistic asshole. Notice he doesn't talk about Diane Dane as one of the great losses because he can't, because Dad covered it up, and then he's going to end up back in all this.
It's been redacted. That's why.
It's been redacted. Exactly. And so he leaves. He leaves Chicago, shuts down the record store, moves to Alaska, and turns into a full-fledged serial killer. Hence the 2013 film The Frozen Ground, where Nicolas Cage is hunting down this serial killer who is Lloyd fucking Dobler. So in your mind, there is a John Cusack multiverse, the JCU, if you will, the John Cusack Universe. Yes, the JCU. So and it's all about Lloyd Dobler. It's kind of like the fucking Bourne identity, like the Bourne continuum, whatever it is.
The Bourne trilogies.
It's just shows all the different styles of the narcissistic Lloyd Dobler, played by John Cusack, who does a great job playing. I'm not saying John Cusack is a narcissistic asshole who's killing people. I mean, he could be. I don't know the dude, but he plays Lloyd Dobler in all these movies. It's all four. It's the Lloyd Dobler saga, and so that's my issue with all this.
How does Better Off Dead fit into the whole thing?
He just wants his $2, man.
Motherfucker just wants his $2. I had an employee. I had a girl that worked for me at my old store, and I forget what it was, but I made a bet with her for like $2 that like our manager was gonna do something, and they did. So she just like walks back. She's like, "I want my $2." I'm like, "What are you, a fucking disgruntled paper boy?" And she's also like 21, so she looks at me and she's like, "What?"
No idea. Yeah.
And I'm like, "It's a movie. Don't." It was made before I was born, so don't worry about it.
Yep. That happens to me. Like I was working my last job, and we would be doing stuff. We'd be on like Skype calls, and like every morning we had a different meeting, and these people would drive me nuts. And I would I was usually running the meetings because I was the supply chain manager, and something would come up, and I would make like some like weird like pop reference culture or pop culture reference, and just everybody would just be silent. I'm like, nobody. Even like the one time I made like a Jefferson's reference, and there was a guy who worked there I was cool with, who was older than me. Oh no, it was a 227. because they said something like, "Oh, the order PO number 227." I was like, "Jackie," and everybody's just quiet. I was like, "Come on, nobody." Levon, not even you. There's a dude, Levon. I'm like, come on, man. And then I actually hear him laughing, and he goes, "I'm gonna fucking kill you, Paul." So that was actually kind of funny. But generally, I would make these like these references, and people were like, we have no idea what you're talking about. So that's my life.
One time before I went back to Dayside at my old store, the majority of the night crew at my old store was like younger kids. So I went to the vending machine one time and got a Baby Ruth, and like someone said something about it. And I was like, "Yeah, man, fucking sloth love chunk," and they looked at me like I was insane. And I was like, "You motherfuckers have never seen the Goonies?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Fuck all of you!" I'm like, "You all have homework tonight."
What's kind of cool is actually I got the one time I was out on the West Coast to visit my kids when they lived in Washington. Well, 2 of them still live in Washington State. Took a ride down to Oregon. And went to Astoria and Cannon Bridge, so I got to see the Goonies house, and I got to see the beach. I stood on the beach where they take the shot where, you know, the ship comes out. So that was really cool. That was cool. That was a cool experience. Now, at the time, you could go to you couldn't. You could find the Goonies house, which was very easy to find there. And the owners at the time had a sign on their at the end of the driveway said, "This is the Goonies house. Do not trespass. We will call the police."
Yeah.
The house has actually since been sold, and apparently the people who own it now allow you to go up and take pictures at the Goonies house. So and those like the people who said like don't come on our property were people who had bought it in between as well, because the people before that would allow you to go up the driveway, and so you know. But so that was kind of cool.
If I owned the Goonies house, I would have a sign at the end of the driveway that says, "Do not come up or we will call the police unless you do the truffle shuffle."
Well, apparently that's what was happening. People were going up and doing the truffle shuffle. And,
I can imagine.
Their house. So
I remember when Pokemon Go first came out, a lot of people were pissed off because like people will buy desanctified churches and turn them into their houses.
Yeah.
A lot of Pokestops and gyms in Pokemon Go are churches because it's all based on cell phone activity.
Yeah.
And whereas a lot of cell phones, a lot of people congregated at church, so a lot of the churches are Pokestops or gyms in the game. So desanctified churches were still gyms and stuff. So people were like writing to the company that makes it, complaining that like people were on their front lawn at like 2:00 in the morning trying to fucking take the gym.
That's funny. That's why like there's in Ben Salem, there's a right by the Chamonix Mall is a Jewish cemetery.
Yeah.
Who, ironically, celebrity buried there, Nancy Spungen. If you know who Nancy Spungen is, she was killed by Sid Vicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's actually buried there.
Really?
Yeah.
I lived right around the corner from there.
Yeah. No. So
you lived up the street from
exactly,
there. You could hit the cemetery with a rock from your fucking house.
So when we lived in Ben Salem, and but they actually had a sign on their gates that said, "Do not come in here to do Pokemon Go."
Which is funny because I have pulled into that cemetery to play Pokemon Go.
Yep, I've walked the cemetery just to get my steps in for the day. So yeah.
That's fucking fun.
Yeah.
All right, Paul. Let me ask you a question because this is something I'm very interested in for this album specifically.
Okay.
Because you don't care for this album. What are your 3 favorite songs off this album?
Okay, so I don't have 3. I couldn't find 3 that I would say are my 3 favorite songs. I have 2 that I would call my favorite songs, and they're not even, they're songs that I would listen to again, is what I would say, and they are Belt and the Spider Song. So those are my 3 favorite songs because I couldn't find a third. But what I could tell you is on my least favorite songs.
How many? Is he every song on the album besides Belt and the Spider Song?
No. I just put 3.
Okay.
I just put 3, and they are The Feudal.
Okay.
Yellow Cat / Red Cat, because of the fucking, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what he's trying to do. Like, oh, cool, Dr. Seuss hats and shit like that. You know what I mean? Fuck you guys.
It's a metaphor, Paul.
And then, fuck that. And then Every Man Has a Maui, which is proof that this is a fucking Fat Boy Bro record. Because it's like, that song actually pisses me off, because that is some dude who was treating his girl like his fuck buddy. Mm-hmm. And then she didn't like it anymore. So he's like, what the fuck, man? God damn it, I can't ever just have a Maui. No, fuck you, dude. Like girls can have a Maui. Like, fuck you, man. Fucking
I was hooking up with a girl in college for a little while. who claimed to know the Molly in
Oh,
question.
really?
And I was like, all right. And I'm like, I'm not going to believe you, but
Yeah.
you know, we keep doing some sexy stuff, so I'll just keep keep the conversation going. I would say it's funny that you say
Do you need a beer?
yeah, it's funny that you say both Feudal and Yellow Cat / Red Cat are your least favorite, because I would probably those two are probably contending for my number 3 spot. But I would probably put A Walk Through Hell and I Want to Know Your Plans.
Okay. The Feudal, I think that the problem with that is like the words. I think that's the thing that words. We're gonna take rat poison.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude, shut up. Like seriously, you looked at the formula for emo songs and you put the cha-chunk in.
Yeah.
And you fucking went to the lyrics that made it sound like it'd be cool, and you just fucking like that song could have been done in AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's although it is funny, I was thinking about this too. So we, of course, being from the decade that I am, grunge was like the big thing when like I was in high school. Grunge came out, Nirvana, Nevermind came out, and it was Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and all that kind of stuff. So we used to joke around that Sub Pop had the grunge effect on their boards. So, like Eddie Vedder actually talks like this. Hey guys, what's up? My name's Eddie Vedder. But then they put it on and goes, "Hurl me no more." So it's just an effect. It's just a button that they hit. So that's what we used to joke around. But that's what the futile is. It is well, here is the formula to an emo song, and we're gonna do that. And we're emotional. We were hurt.
I noticed while listening to this album, I got to. Let's see. I got to It's a Metaphor, Fool. And I realized that this is the 3rd song on the album that has a comma in the title.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that's kind of weird. I don't know. It's just kind of something that struck
maybe
me.
They're grammatically correct.
Yeah, because we have... where is it? Oh, the commas aren't even on the fucking... Oh, wait, no. They are. So we have slowly, comma, through a vector. We have wow, comma, I can get sexual too, and then we have it's a metaphor, comma, fool, but the comma is not on here.
Okay.
But yeah. Another thing that I've noted about the album, when I got to the song Slowly Through a Vector, I imagine that at one point in the studio the lead singer was just like, "Hey guys, I wrote another song, you want to throw some gang vocals on it?" It's literally, I would say half this album is gang vocals.
Yeah, and you got the singers going back and forth, which I think for me, that's where like the whole actually it was Katie's the one who pinpointed it. That's where like the whole like Good Charlotte feel comes from it. Yeah, she kept saying, it's like, who's those twin brothers? I'm like, Milli Vanilli? I don't know.
Yeah, it's Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, then she got there. She was like, Good Charlotte. I'm like, oh yeah, this does fucking sound like Good Charlotte.
Interesting thing about the song I Want to Know Your Plans, I accidentally taught myself how to play the intro to that song.
Okay.
Because I know how to play the intro to La Bamba.
No, nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I mean, you know the intro to La Bamba, you know how to play La Bamba.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 chords.
Yeah. But I was playing it. I played La Bamba at school for somebody the one time, and this guy goes, "What did you just play?" I was like, "La Bamba?" And he's like, "That's Say Anything." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "That's I Want to Know Your Plans." And I played it, and I was like, "Oh, fuck, it is, yeah."
Well, it's always great because, like, and I talked to my buddy Frank about this because like how a lot of songs like unintentionally end up sounding like other songs, and it's like there's only like fucking like so many chords and so many notes that you can play. So like, but like my favorite kind of and our brother Mike, who our box of Michael is
waiting in the ready.
Is waiting in the ready and is named in his honor. He played in a lot of cover bands in the late 80s and 90s.
Currently plays in a cover band.
And he does currently play in a cover band called Cosmic Debris. So they're good. I like them. They're fun.
Yeah.
But
we saw them play together one time.
We did, actually. That's right.
And I will hopefully never go to that bar again.
Yes. No, that was yeah.
It made me laugh because like they had one of my favorite beers, local beer, is Yard's Brawler.
I love Brawler.
And they had Yards Brawler on tap. And I asked for a Brawler, and she looked at me like I was the asshole. I was like, motherfucker, you have the tap, not me. Like,
yeah, right?
Like, don't fucking have it if you don't want me to fucking order. If you just want to crack a bottle of Yingling, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Don't fucking have that on tap. There.
Exactly. I'm a fan of Yards Brawler.
Yeah, Yards Brawler is really fucking good.
It's good, drinkable. Just fucking grab it and just drink. Maybe we'll get that for next week.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Just get a case.
Yeah.
Because usually, like, I only ever see Brawler in the 4-packs that have the pale ale, the IPA, the Brawler.
Oh, really?
And
I see Brawler all the time, man. I actually like the Brawler out of cans better than the bottle. I don't know why.
You know, it's also really good by Yards. Have you had their Loyal Lager?
I have. That is good. Yep.
The Loyal Lager is really good. I think when I checked it on Untapped, I think I described it as a good beer flavored beer.
Yeah. And
like in the world of craft shit, where things always have like, are you drinking?
Well, actually, I was gonna.
You're
I'll talk about this in a second. What are you drinking now?
Oh, I am drinking Oscar Blues Cosmic Mutant IPA.
It's a pretty good IPA. It's a little hazy.
No.
Like there is a hazy IPA from them, but that's like hazy-ish. This here is the very last Baby's First Christmas Ale that Jack and I brewed for Regina's Baby's First Christmas. So this is the last one that I'm drinking here on the podcast.
Check
today.
you out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in the world of this is a Trogs beer that's fucking chocolate flavored. Yeah. There's a I don't know if you saw Evil Genius, so a local brewery in Philly, Evil Genius posted a thing. They're partnering with they're partnering with Rita's Water Ice.
Yeah. And no, that's Neshaminy Creek.
No.
Evil Genius is
also
doing it?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Neshaminy Creek is.
Yes.
But Evil Genius put out beers like a few years back called Fly Like an Eagle that is supposed to taste like a Rita's Water Ice cherry gelati, and then they also put out a mango gelati as well.
Okay.
But
Neshaminy Brewing
Neshaminy
has
Creek
the official
is officially
Rita's,
partnering and has like the Rita's logo on the can and everything.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
So yeah, in the world of
you're gonna get us sued, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
The fuck?
In the world of wacky flavored,
we don't have any money. My wife has the money, and she's not on here to say this stuff. So just keep that in mind.
All of the views and what's the thing?
I don't know.
All the views expressed on the Country Hipster podcast are that of Paul and Adams, and not Katie's.
Yes.
Who has the money?
Yes, not Katie who has the money. So we will say whatever we want to say. So so this record here, you ready to get the value?
Yes.
Okay. So this record here, okay. I will say this. This is what I will say. Despite your water damaged cover, this is a cool cover, and it's a cool gatefold. One of the things I do like about this is that it's the marble orange pressing here. This is a reissue, but this particular pressing is specific. Like it's a specific pressing. It's the orange marble. They actually did this a few times. This particular one, when I looked it up on Discogs, is from the 2008 repressing. So that was one of the things I realized when I looked into this album earlier. Even if I don't like it, I still research it. One of the things that I could say about this is that originally 2004, and then it was pressed in 2005. It came out again in 2006. This is the 2008 pressing, which also has the Walk Through Hell, which is part of the Was a Real Boy, which are the demos for this album as well, which really didn't make it on the album. It's the initial EPs and demos, so they combine the two. So the actual Is a Real Boy is like the basically 13 songs, I think it is, from Belt to Admit It. And then Was a Real Boy, which is basically LP2, is the EP and the demos previous to this. So that is kind of cool. It is. I will say that it's a cool fucking pressing for that. I love the color. I am a color vinyl fiend.
Yes, I've always been a fan of the wacky colors. I have a Circus Survive album that is like almost like blue and black marble looking.
Yep.
But so yeah, I've always been a fan of the color.
Yes.
The color stuff.
Yes, I like color vinyl. I know it's kitschy, and you do the indie releases of stuff where there'll be so many in a color and then the rest are in black. It's fucking cool. It is cool. Yeah. And honestly, I think it's one of the things that helps to save vinyl records and keep vinyl records moving forward is that.
Yeah.
But this one here, this is the 2008 orange marble pressing. the Discogs value, again, just to give you guys a refresher in case you don't know, we had agreed that we will just automatically grade the albums at Very Good Plus. What'd you do? Are you breaking, Michael?
No, I'm actually fixing it.
Fixing Michael. Okay.
The piece of tape that was going around the corner and it didn't sit right, so I cut it so it sat better.
So we agreed that we were just going to do Very Good Plus, regardless of the condition.
Because if that was the case, half of my records are water damaged and fucked.
Yeah.
So.
And we go by the suggested retail on Discogs, and the suggested retail value of this album on Discogs was like $74 or $75, something like that. So $75, which brings Adam's running total. He has 2 records to my 1, since this is only episode 3. Adam's running total is now at $81, and my running total is remaining at $78. And we don't have any money running this. It's not like we're like, these are at least for me, these are my records. Those are Adam's records. I'm not selling these. All this other shit here is for sale at the OddsvilleRecordGarage.com. So you can go check that out.
Unless we are talking, as discussed in last week's episode, you can buy my copy of Stardust provided you pay enough money for me to beat Paul. You have to buy that record for $78, even though it was worth $6.
It was $6. Yes. So that is our running totals for our collection of 25. So that's where we are currently at. So
now something else before we pull this next episode out. Okay. Something that I said to Paul that I want to try to do is I want to keep a track of who has the longest run. So currently we started with a U album, and now we've had 2 me albums in a row.
I thought you were talking about something else.
No.
Buddy. Yeah.
No. I want to keep track of who has the longest run of their records being consecutive in a week.
So you went back to back 2 in a row. So it's my turn to pull.
I thought you pulled last time.
Oh, I did pull last time. Okay, so you got to pull.
So I pull.
You got to pull. That's right. Hold on. Let's mix them up real good. Boom. Mix them up real good. Come on. All right. I didn't do it.
All right. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna go straight to the bottom of the box. We got number 21, if you can see it. If I can tilt it in some way so you guys can see it. 21.
21. What we got here? I'm going to say it's a you.
Me?
I think it's a you.
I don't know. Let's see. I think you said you didn't have any pink cards.
I think I had.
Oh, no, you did have some pink cards. Oh, this one. Ooh.
What we got?
Paul.
What do we got?
Paul, interesting. Not only do you break my streak of 2.
Okay.
And we have a U record, but we have our first record/book review.
Oh, it's a Booze and Vinyl.
It's a Booze and Vinyl record.
Booze and Vinyl episode.
Next week, we will be covering The Queen is Dead
by
the Smiths.
Fuck yes. All right. So, where is it? Yes. Where is it? It's over here somewhere. There it is. Nope, that's a Dead Milkman. Oh, shit. I fucking fucked up. I'll let people know what's on it.
Shut your mouth.
Boom. Right here, The Smiths. The Queen is Dead. This is a fucking great album. It's one of my picks. It's a Booze and Vinyl episode.
We'll get this out of here.
Yes, let's put it up here. I am so excited about this.
Oh,
look at that. I got a stink bug. There is a stink bug on it. So,
let's see what we're going to be drinking.
I think it is.
Is it in that one?
This one. So, real quick, we did explain this in the pilot episode. What is Booze and Vinyl? Booze and Vinyl was actually kind of one of the ideas where this podcast came from, as to what the idea was. I wanted to take this book, it's 2-volume book. This is volume 1. Volume 2 is over there with Adam's. It's symbolic because I am season 1. Adam is season 2, so that's why he is volume 2. But what this book is, it's basically a drink recipe book, and there's some like little food recipes in here and whatnot. And it's basically, it is drinks that pair well with vinyl records. And like I said, it was my initial thought we would do this as the podcast, and then I read something about how that would be copyright infringement.
Yeah.
But we can do a book review, and that is not copyright infringement, and I do not need permission to do that. So I'm going to do it. It is from volume 1. Queen is Dead. So what we're going to do with this, which is great because now we get to pull in. Oh, this is fucking perfect.
We finally, and it was funny because I was just thinking about that on the way up here. I was like, man, I really want to get started on that fucking record player.
Yeah, so we have a record player that I got from my cousin. It's kind of one of those little console ones that has like the radio and the record player on it. It's super old. It's really not worth fixing electrically. So we're actually going to be, Adam is a very gifted woodworker, and we are going to be converting it into a dry bar. And even though we haven't started that yet, we are going to be making these drinks on our dry bar here at the Ottsville Record Garage. So the drinks that we will be making for the Queen is Dead are a Royal Pimm's Cup and an Obituary. So I'm not going to get into those. We'll get into them when we mix the drinks and make the drinks here, and then we talk about them, and we're going to try them because we do like alcohol, we like beer, but we also like other drinks, and it just be like it's just going to be fun, right? So that's what we're all about having here. Oh yes, all right. So that's going to be a good one.
I'm excited.
I am excited. So
I will.
week,
I will totally be happy with the fact that my streak is over at 2, strictly because I was really hoping we get into a booze and vinyl.
Yes, and
episode.
Also let me see something real quick. The other thing we are trying to do.
I think the baby's crying.
Yeah, the baby is crying. I can hear. This isn't like the summer movie club where all you hear are babies crying in the background. But
we keep the kids separate in this one.
Yes, I can hear my child in crying there. It's starting to make me like
lactate.
Starting to make me lactate. So we have a possibility also of our first guest appearance as well for this album.
That's right. Morrissey will be here now.
Morrissey will be here. No, it will not be Morrissey. And even if we had Morrissey booked, he'd probably just cancel at the last minute anyway. Yeah. But there is a possibility we will have a guest here. As you guys know, we are not here. Actually, this person would be remote. But as you guys know, we don't know what we're doing next week until we pull it out of the box of Michael. So sometimes there might be scheduling conflicts or whatever. So it is completely possible we have a guest next week. But either way, it is a Booze and Vinyl episode, and that will be a lot of fun. We'll be making some drinks. We will be talking about The Smiths, The Queen is Dead, one of my very favorite albums. I have a very somewhat funny story about the copy that I... funny, like haha funny. No, it's not really haha funny. It's just like fuck funny. But about my particular copy of
it's like funny where you have to laugh or you'll cry.
Exactly. At the time, yes. Now I'm over it, but yes, at the time. I'm looking forward to this. This is great. It's like my favorite Smiths album. It's one of my favorite albums. So that's gonna be a lot of fun.
And
for me.
I mean, you were talking about you were just saying earlier in this episode that you were a fan of emo and older emo. And
how do you get more emo?
Is like when you talk about older, like originators of emo, I feel like bands that are always brought up. You just mentioned Sunny Day Real Estate multiple times. Promise Ring, I feel like gets thrown around a lot.
Promise Ring.
And the Smiths, without a doubt, gets thrown around as one of the.
They're probably like the original.
Yeah,
emo
as
band,
one of the originators of the genre. So
yeah, absolutely. So I mean, they're probably like technically predate the genre, but all the bands who really. Well, not all the bands, but a lot of the bands who really kind of pushed that genre forward were definitely almost undoubtedly inspired by the Smiths. You know what I mean? So influenced by the Smiths. So so that'll be a lot of fun. You got anything to add there?
No, I'm super excited. I mean, I have a very limited exposure to the Smiths, but I've always meant to get into them more. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that The Queen is Dead is that springboard to get me more into the Smiths.
Very nice. I think it will be. This is great. So anybody who's already subscribed to the YouTube page, please, thank you. Look back again. Let your friends know about it. We're also the podcast is available on Spotify podcast as well as Apple Podcasts and pretty much anywhere you get your podcast. There's a few weird ones I didn't sign up for because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is, so I didn't do it. But it's available in a lot of places, and anybody who's already started following us or subscribe to us, thank you so much for doing that. We really appreciate it. We hope it continues. We hope you
at the moment of recording, the Country Hipster podcast on YouTube is at 22 subscribers.
22 subscribers. We started from, what was it, 5 when we did the pilot episode?
And the pilot episode was posted 4 days ago, and is currently at 43 views. So.
Which, it doesn't sound like a lot, but to me it means a lot. It's great because we're having fun doing this, and we really appreciate everybody who's listening, and even if just for a few minutes. And hopefully you continue to like what we're doing here. And I'm starting to sound like an NPR commercial.
I'd say also, don't forget, like, if you don't have the time to sit down and watch a YouTube video, I guarantee you drive somewhere throughout the course of the day.
Yep.
You could find us on a lot of the audio podcasting platforms. I know specifically I listen to us on Apple and Spotify. The Anchor through, or Podcasters, whatever it's called now, where we host the podcast, is owned by Spotify now. So you could find us on pretty much all of the major audio podcast platforms.
And hopefully at this point we have fixed Adam's volume, maybe made it a little too loud.
Yeah,
but
I
that's
apologize.
Okay.
I was yelled at by Paul's wife today that I have to speak louder and more directly into the microphone.
Which is why I have it right here right now. Gotta run up on my grill, baby. Yeah. We're spinning the ones and twos and the sounds of the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today.
I realized at my wedding.
I apologize if I just blew out anybody, because the sound wave looks horrific.
I realized at my wedding that you had no idea how to talk into a microphone, and that is actually normal for people who don't usually talk into a microphone. But at any rate,
I thought I was fairly comfortable speaking into a microphone.
No, I had to move your arm up. You don't remember that?
Oh, you know what I do, but you know what, that just may be because, like, in all fairness, I think when I actually performed the ceremony, I was like 3 or 4 beers deep at that point.
True.
So my arm was just like, fuck, this is heavy.
No, it is true. But hey, you know what? I think we got things going. It's really good. Thank you so much. Don't forget to check out the Summer Movie Club podcast that Adam co-hosts with our other brother Zach. My name is Paul. I'm the Country Hipster. This is the Country Hipster podcast, live from the Ottsville Record Garage, OttsvilleRecordGarage.com. And now it is time to move on!